I hear music in my pillow. For 20 long years, I've been tormented by the sinister strains of music that haunt my nights. It all began when I moved into an old Victorian house on the outskirts of a small, quiet town. The house, with its ornate architecture and imposing presence, had an air of mystery that drew me in, and I thought it would be the perfect place to escape the chaos of city life. But as the days turned into nights, I discovered the true nature of my new residence. Every night, just as I drift off to sleep, the music would start. A haunting melody that seemed to seep through the very walls, as though it emanated from the very bones of the house. It was a song of despair, played on instruments that sounded ancient and mournful. I would lift my head from the pillow to try and pinpoint the source of the music, but it was as if the haunting notes vanished into thin air. The moment my head touched the pillow again, the music returned. It was maddening. Faint whispers lingered within the melody, voices of the lost, the damned, and the vengeful. For 2 decades, I tried to make out what they were saying. It was as if they were trying to communicate some terrible truth, a message buried within the mournful tunes. But just as I thought I was on the verge of understanding, I would drift off to sleep, and my nightmares would begin. In my dreams, I would find myself in a nightmarish realm, surrounded by grotesque, shadowy figures. Their eyes glowed with malevolence, and they hissed in a language I couldn't comprehend. They watched me with hungry anticipation, their forms twisting and contorting in the darkness. I would wake up bathed in cold sweat, with the echoes of their terrible voices still haunting my ears. Each night the torment continued, and I grew more sleep-deprived and desperate. The demons seemed to know me, to feed off my fear and despair. They whispered promises of torment, of eternal suffering, and it felt as though they were inching closer with every passing night. I reached out to friends, family, and even experts in the paranormal, hoping for help, but no one believed me. They attributed the music to insomnia, or worse, to my imagination. I felt isolated, trapped in a waking nightmare, unable to escape the malevolent lullaby that had plagued me for 2 decades. Desperation clawed at my soul, and I knew I had to find a way to break the cycle. I began researching the history of the house, uncovering the grim tales of past residents who had all met untimely ends. There were whispers of a curse, of a dark secret hidden within the house's walls, and I was determined to unravel it. As I delved deeper into the house's history, I discovered an old journal from a former resident, a man who had also been plagued by the music. His writing spoke of a hidden room, a room that held the key to breaking the curse. With trembling hands, I searched every nook and cranny of the house until, one fateful night, I found a hidden passage that led to that forbidden room. Inside the hidden room, the old piano sat, a relic of a time long gone. I knew that I had to confront the malevolent presence once and for all, for the sake of my own sanity and to ensure that the curse would not pass down to my future generations. With a deep breath, I began to play a counter-melody, one that resonated with the echoes of hope, love, and strength. The room grew colder, and the voices within the music grew louder, more desperate. The demons, the lost souls, and the vengeful spirits gathered around me, their twisted forms taking shape in the eerie moonlight. But as I played the piano, my determination remained unwavering. I could see the suffering etched into their spectral faces, and it was as though they were drawn to the very essence of the music. The room trembled, and the malevolent presence recoiled, retreating into the shadows. In a final, desperate crescendo, I played the piano with all the strength I could muster, drowning out the haunting melody of the demons. Their screams filled the room, and with a burst of unearthly energy, they vanished, leaving me standing alone in the darkness. Since that night, the haunting music in my pillow ceased, and I could finally sleep in peace. The curse had been silenced, and the house had returned to a quiet, tranquil abode. The town's legend of the Aria Manor faded into obscurity. Years passed, and I married, had children, and raised a family in that house. I believed I had vanquished the curse, and the nightmares of demons watching me sleep were nothing more than distant memories. But the malevolent presence, it seemed, was not entirely gone. One night, as I sat in my eldest child's room, reading a bedtime story, a faint, haunting melody began to seep into the air. My eldest child asked me if I could hear the music in his pillow. My heart skipped a beat, and my child, oblivious to the spectral tune, continued to drift off to sleep. Desperation took hold of me as I realized that the curse had not been lifted. It had merely passed on to the next generation. Night after night, I would sit at the old piano, playing melodies that once brought me a glimmer of hope. But the haunting music in my children's pillows would not be silenced. The malevolent presence was relentless, tormenting my children with nightmares and eerie whispers, their sleepless nights mirroring my own long-ago struggles. I could see the fear in their innocent eyes, and it tore at my heart, knowing that they had inherited the curse I had fought so hard to break. I consulted experts, delving into forbidden books and scouring the darkest corners of the occult. Yet the curse proved to be more resilient than I had ever imagined. It was a relentless force, a dark legacy that refused to be vanquished. As years turned into decades, I watched my children grow, each of them bearing the same burden of the haunted music in their pillows. I could no longer hear the music in my pillow, nor could I hear it in theirs, but the nightmarish visions and the whispers of demons continued to haunt them. I was forced to accept that the curse could not be defeated. It was a part of our family's history, a malevolent legacy that had passed from one generation to the next. My heart ached for my children, but there was nothing more I could do. The Aria Manor remained our home, a place of beauty and dread, where the echoes of music and the whispers of demons continued to torment us. I could only hope that, someday, my children would find a way to confront the curse and break free from the nightmarish hold it had on our family. Dare to delve into the unknown with chilling ghost tales. Then subscribe for weekly videos of the eeriest tales and darkest legends now.